was supposed to go to up on the panel. And as soon as Kirk put me up, brought me up to the panel, he took me down right away. I don't know why. I guess I don't know. I have no idea because I have never like talked a day of my life with Kirk, so I never got to find out like why Kirk has such a hate for me. You know what I mean? Because he seems that he was hate because every time I was posting the video about Ryan Upchurch, he was coming on Ryan Upchurch's defense and talking mad shit and all this other shit. And I was like, dude, listen, you ain't too old for this shit. Try to like bow and like vow and try to defend another grown ass man that is not even your family member type shit. That's gay to me. I literally said that to him. Like, that's gay to me, bro. Like, don't try to act like you are Ryan Upchurch, guardian angel and shit. Like, who the fuck are you, bro? But that day they were all setting you up for failure. All of them would try to set you up for failure. They were asking some questions that they would try to like get you to say something. Like, listen, I knew in the back of my head, I was like, yo, this is gonna go bad. I know that for a fact.
When it was just Kirk and I, it was fine. It's when I told him I had like you and I are doing like right now. I'm okay with one or two people on panel, but once it gets to be 6, 7 deep, it's just too hard. It's too hard to. It's too, like you said, it kind of does set you up for fail because because now it's like you're sitting there going, okay, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Okay, right. Yes. No, right. Yes. No, yes, no. And then, before you know it, you've said yes to something that you mean no to something. You know what I mean? Like, and then they run with it. And it's like, I didn't say that.
Right. And you know what, though? Something that I got to say, and when you said that it seems that Ryan Upchurch was only looking for clout with the Kiely Rodni case, you know what? I totally agree with you. Because if he had any good in his heart, and he was actually in the true crime community, with for the right things, right? I think it wouldn't be no problem for him to actually apologize and just make it right, and just make it right. Because again, if you was in the case for the right reasons and you really wanted to help and you had a good heart to it, and then some way somehow you just flip. In my opinion, I see it as right now as we speak, the only thing that Ryan Upchurch got going on is the Kiely Rodni issue of the lawsuit and the war that he got with Cahoon. Is the only two things that he got going on in his life, and his manager and all his friends turning their back on him. Which, if you ask me, it looks bad on him. Because this is people that you kept around for years. And then now you're not friends no more. And we're talking about that the common denominator is you. That's all what Ryan Upchurch got going on. Nothing but drama with the Kiely Rodni case. Cahoon, the war that they got going on. And his friends and his manager leaving him. He don't have nothing else going on. No music, no project, no tour, no show. He just took all his videos down from YouTube, but then brought them back up, which that killed his algorithm. So if you ask me, I don't know how this man is making his money, because it seems that nothing is being reported since like long time ago.
Yeah.
So like again,
like I said, if he was from, like I said, I did have one or two conversations with Upchurch, and everybody said I had that he was making fun of me after I talked to him in the chat and everything else. I don't have anything against him, but if he know, like, we know that Kiely was real. Like, I know who she was. I've seen pictures of her, and I know people that knew her growing up, and so therefore, if he really was in it for Kiely, he would come back and say, I was wrong. Like, I just make the wrong the right. Like you that's what you do, is if you make a mistake, you fix it. You do the right thing.
And you know what's crazy? That if he had really doubts, if he really had doubts about Kiely Rodni being real, why he couldn't ask Doug?
Mm-hmm.
He get the Hellcat to Doug, right? The 100K and the Hellcat gave it to Doug. I think the 100K he gave it to the owner of Venture for Purpose, giving the 100K, and then he gave the Hellcat to Doug. So long story short, you are connected to these people that found Kiely Rodni. You
Right.
couldn't call Doug and be like, hey Dog, is your Kiely Rodni real? Yeah, bro, I seen her with my own eyes. Or call Nick Wren. He got their phone numbers. You couldn't
Mm-hmm.
call Nick Wren and be like, Nick, what you saw under the water was a Kiely Rodni? And he'll tell you it was Kiely Rodni. So what's such a problem to know the truth? Even though if you have bigger doubts, how about you asking someone, or even now that you are within the situation that you are on in the federal lawsuit, you couldn't tell your lawyer, listen, I need the birth. If this young lady is real, I need you to find me her birth certificate. Don't you think that lawyer already didn't found it?
Yeah.
That's why he have to pay. Because obviously her lawyer was like, dude, here's her birth certificate. This is all the proof that she's real. And then now you don't have no excuse for saying what you're saying, because when you said it, it was the whole world. Not just one true crime show, not just one person. It was the whole world recognizing that this was a real person, a real issue, a real life experience that didn't have nothing to do with GoFundMe or some kind of scam situation.
Right.
Which at that point, he'll have to involve the police within the scam for that to even happen.
Yeah. Exactly. It like I said, if he was a man of his word and he was a stand-up guy, he would say, I messed up. You know, guys, you know, when you say something and your word, you know, and guy in the, you know, there, it's like in Alaska, you know, when their handshake is their word. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
in other words, there's kind of a unspoken word between individuals that are, you know, that are backwoods or whatever you want to say, that really, that, you know, that's their word is their bond. And you know, I'm sure that in his world, what he says, and yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of yes Ryans more than there is a lot of no Ryans, but you know,
Countrymen only have his word and God.
yes. And that's what I mean by that, is that, you know, they have their word, and they like what they say is what they mean. And I think that like that would show a lot of you know, a lot of little boys that are young, like, you know, that my son is 22, that listen to his music, you know, that are going through life in any way, shape, or form, would benefit from that. You know, like, you know, if you make a mistake, you own it and you have to pay the price. I mean, that's what you, and if you say it to 10 million followers, you know, it's not. And I think that's the other thing about the Ryan Upchurch, is that, you know, when it was all of us just saying it, you know, like you and I that are peons compared to Ryan. No offense to you and I,
No,
but
you're right. You're right. You're
like
right.
like that we don't mean anything, you know. But when you have someone that has a following, and that you know, that
A celebrity, a certified celebrity.
yeah, like has the check mark, you know, like has
Right.
like, you know, that has the blue check mark and everything
Like
else on there.
he gets invited to places that we don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're not, and you know what? I don't want to go to those places. I wouldn't want to be there. I would want to watch the shit show, but I'd want to go home at the end of the night. I'd be like, I'm
Right.
done. Like I'm done. I'm done with this. But you know, like I think that's what, and that's my opinion, and only my opinion on why that why I feel. And like I said, I've never had a